Hello and good evening, everyone who've joined for today's session. We'll give it a couple of minutes. A few more people are joining. We'll start the session in a couple of minutes. Oh, sorry. I've been talking on mute. My bad. Good evening and welcome, everyone. A lot of people are joining, and we'll just wait for one more minute and then get started. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know, Supriya. Thank you, Kasturi. And good evening, Rachna. I hope you're all able to hear me loud and clear now. Yes, thank you. Thank you for the confirmation. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so let's get started. So, good evening, everyone, and thank you for taking the time out for joining today's session, greytHR PMS Live, live demo of reviews and calibration. My name is Suresh. I'm from the product team here at Greytribe Software Private Limited, and I'm going to be the host for today's session. So we launched, excuse me, we launched greytHR PMS roughly about a year ago with goals and reviews. And since then, we've added many features and enhancements along the way. To name a few, we launched recommendations, followed by 360 feedback, goals and reviews library. And the most recent of those is the calibration, bell curve calibration. So in today's session, we'll focus on reviews and calibration because they go hand in hand. We'll be doing a deep dive in those areas in the interest of time, right? Now, joining me today are Prabhanjan, Pooja, and Nikhil, also from the product team. Prabhanjan will be doing the live demo of reviews and calibration. Prabhanjan, can you introduce yourself to the audience, please?
Hi everybody, good evening. I'm Prabhanjan. I'm an Associate Product Manager here at greytHR with the PMS product. Looking forward to today's session. Thanks.
Thank you. And we also have Pooja and Nikhil from the product team who will be on the panel today, and they will be answering any questions or queries that you may have around reviews and calibration during the session and after the demo. So we do have a dedicated Q&A session planned right after the demo. But in case if you feel like asking any questions during the session, feel free to ask them using the Q&A icon at the bottom of your Zoom screen, right? So before we get started, I'd like to know a little bit about your performance review process. You will see this as a poll in your screen very shortly. So let me know how often do you run performance reviews in your organization. We understand it can vary organization to organization. We're getting a lot of responses and it seems to be equally split among all the options: monthly, quarterly, half yearly, annual. The majority being annual. we'll give it a few more seconds before we move on. If you see the poll on your screen, please answer it. It'll help us understand your current process better and help us tailor the demo accordingly. Hi Virendra, we do have a Q&A session planned. If you have any questions, I request you to kindly drop them in the chat. One of our team members would respond to you. Okay, thank you for all the responses. So annual seems to be the clear winner, followed by half yearly and quarterly. Thank you for the responses. Now, moving on. Um, so during the process of building, greytHR PMS tool, we've had the opportunity to connect with a lot of customers and understand how they are running current, performance evaluations currently. And most of you seem to be running it using spreadsheets or using a manual process, which can be very painful, right? Right from collating the data and feedback from multiple teams, and then the endless chasing and follow-ups for teams to complete reviews on time. And then once you get all the results, you notice that the ratings and the feedback is varies from team to team. There's a lot of inconsistencies, and then putting all that together and making sense of it, makes it a really cumbersome task. On the other hand, employees also seem to have this perception that this is an unfair and a process which is not transparent, which makes the whole process a bit of an administrative burden and not a tool of growth for the business as it's supposed to be. And this is exactly where greytHR PMS steps in, right? It helps you streamline the process. It does the heavy lifting of the lot of the administrative work, so that reviews at your organization can be simpler, faster, and fair and transparent to everyone involved, not just for the HR admins, also for the team managers and the employees, who are being evaluated. With greytHR PMS, you can manage goals, you can run reviews, you can collect feedback, and you can calibrate the ratings all in one place. Now, these are the four main modules that are available in greytHR PMS as of now. Like I've already mentioned, we're constantly adding features every quarter, and there's more coming up. But these are the main modules that we have right now. So where goals really helps you is to align organizational objectives with team's objectives. This way, you know that your entire organization is right on track with the organization goals and aspirations, and you're also able to clearly see the progress and then measure it, so that there are no surprises at the end of the year when you're doing the appraisals. And with reviews, you can run a very structured review process that's also fair, and this helps you save a lot of time, and which also keeps the employees engaged. With 360 feedback, you are able to gather holistic and balanced feedback, from peers, managers, and managers of other teams, self-assessment, so that you get a holistic picture of a particular employee and not just a one-sided feedback provided by the manager. This way, you can make evaluations more fair. And if you still find that ratings are inconsistent, across organizations, across teams, you can always use the bell curve method, to straighten them out. Am I audible? I'm just seeing a comment that says I'm not audible. Am I audible? Can someone please confirm? Prabhanjan, I'm audible, right? Yes, yes. Okay. Sir, can you please check your settings in Zoom? Or you can also leave and rejoin and see if that works. Thank you. So continuing, so basically where greytHR PMS stands out is that it's a tool that you are already using for your day-to-day, HR ops. You're very familiar with the whole greytHR experience. It's easy to adopt. It's highly flexible, and it scales, seamlessly as your team grows. And it's also backed by our support team. So if you ever have to, run into any issues, or if you need any support, we're always there to back you up. Now that brings us to the end of the product overview. And before we go into the demo, I'd like to know a little bit more about your process. So you'll see a poll on your screen shortly. So please let me know what's the biggest challenge you're currently facing in your process, right? Is it too much of admin or manual effort, or do you feel there's no fairness or consistency in the ratings, or um, do you feel that there's not enough data or insights for decision making? Or if you're facing multiple challenges, you can always select them. Okay, we are getting quite a few responses that say all of the above. Okay, okay. I see a couple of people raising their hands. Anshu, I kindly request you to drop your questions in the Q&A, please. Okay, I think we've got the responses. Thank you. I'll be ending the poll in a couple of seconds. Okay, so we can now move on to the demo that you all have been waiting for. Prabhanjan, over to you.
Suresh. Hi, everybody. So with Suresh setting us up beautifully with this, let's dive right into it. What you will see today is that at the heart of the product that we've built, there's one question. How do you turn performance reviews into better decisions, stronger teams, and ultimately better business results? Let me bring that to life with a quick story before I share my screen and we go through the product. Think back to your school days, right? Imagine you have a teacher in a classroom with 30 students. At the end of the year, the teacher decides that everybody gets a grade based on how loudly they have participated in the class. Not the assignments, not the exams, not the effort, just the volume of their voice. Naturally, a few extroverts will come out in flying colors, while the other quieter ones who might have done some brilliant work get left behind. Now, if that sounds unfair to you, that's exactly what happens in many organizations where performance reviews don't have the right structure. People who shout the loudest in meetings or have the most visible projects, for example, end up being rated higher than those who are equally and sometimes even more impactful and effective. And that's why having a well defined process is so important while assessing performance. So let's begin by looking at how greytHR makes performance reviews clear, transparent, and effective for admins, employees, and managers alike. Let me share my screen. Let me know if my screen is visible. Suresh, if anybody can confirm.
Yes, Prabhanjan, the screen is visible.
All right, thanks for the confirmation. So first, let me quickly walk you through what we see here under data chart performance management. This is the space that brings together everything related to managing an employee's performance. First, we start off with goal plans. These are essentially your KRAs and KPIs, the measurable objectives that an employee works during a given period of time. Goals and goal plans give an organization structure and direction, making sure everybody is aligned on what success looks like. Then we have 360-degree feedback, a process where feedback and information doesn't just flow from manager, and HOD, but it comes from peers, direct reports, and cross-functional colleagues. It's designed to give employees a well-rounded view of their strengths and growth areas. While both of these are critical in building a strong performance culture, our focus for today, like Suresh was mentioning, will be on reviews where the performance assessments happen, and calibration, which ensures that those reviews are consistent and fair across the organization. So, so before we dive in, just a quick note for everybody on the call. Over the next 15 to 20 minutes, you'll see me wearing different hats. Sometimes I'll be the admin who's setting things up. Sometimes I'll be the employee performing an action, doing the assessment. or sometimes I might be the manager doing the review. This way, everybody on the call, you'll get a clear picture and a complete picture of how every role in an organization experiences this performance management process, right? So this right here is the reviews homepage. From here, an admin can create, manage, track all performance cycles. Let me show you a draft I've already created. Let me here. So the first step, like with everything else, any configuration that you have starts with the basics. You give it a name, you choose a performance period, and you choose a review duration. Review duration is essentially the time frame during which this appraisal review is supposed to happen, right? So and here I as an admin can upload any guidelines for assessors and self-assessors. On step two, I'll pick the scope of this review, right? Which I can do these reviews either by departments or by grade, by designation, by location, or by joining date. I've gone ahead and said that this particular review cycle applies to the HR and legal team, right? So this review will be for them. On the third step, I'm defining the assessors. These are essentially the people who are doing your assessments, right? I mean, based on organizational needs, you can configure the assessors to be your manager, HODs, your vice presidents, and everybody. For the sake of simplicity, I've gone ahead and said there'll be a self-assessor, which is the employee doing their own assessment. And then there's the manager who is doing the assessment for the employee. So, and finally, we do have an admin who will do the final approvals and everything. Again, all of this you will see in action, but this is the configuration. Next, I'm assigning windows, the time frames for all of these assessments to happen. I've gone ahead and said between 28th of August and 14th September, an employee can do their own assessment. Similarly for assessor one and final assessor. A few more steps before we wrap up configuration. This is where I've defined the rating scale. I am choosing if I want to have a 1 to 5 scale or a 1 to 10 scale. And I'm defining if I choose 1 to 5, I am defining what those 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 mean. So that when somebody gets a rating of 3 or a 4, it is consistent across the team. 4, for example, here is exceeded expectation. So anybody who gets a 4, they are on the same playground. Next step, these are the categories essentially on which an employee will be assessed on. This can be your goals, your competencies, your behavioral skills. For our example, since we saw that we are choosing this for the HR team, I've gone ahead and enabled goals with a 20% weightage. And with the rest of the weightage, I've gone ahead and created a few more categories like service delivery, employee retention, and recruitment and talent acquisition. So this is essentially some of the competencies based on which an HR will be assessed on. And I've gone ahead and chosen what kind of rating scale it is. I've gone ahead and chosen if all of those require only ratings, comments. So there are a lot of permutations and combinations that can be done. I click on next. Here I am seeing what kind of recommendations. Now, most of you on this call, you must be aware that one of the things that employees look forward to is for performance reviews is appraisal, salary hikes, your promotions. So all of that is also included within your review cycle. So on this step, I can essentially, I'm sorry, there's a disturbance. Is anybody speaking? Okay, I think that's just a disturbance. Yeah, I'll continue. So on this step, essentially, an admin can go ahead and choose what kind of recommendations can be made as a part of this review. I am saying salary change can be made. I am saying promotions, that's a designation change. And perform personal development and performance improvement plans also can be made with this. I'll click on next. This is essentially controlling what the employee can see. So once all of the review is done, what can the employee see? Can they see, let's say, I choose that they cannot see changes in their salary, or maybe they can. That's all controllable from here. And next, finally, I land on the summary page. This is a one-pager confirmation of everything I have configured so far. I can take a scroll, take a look at everything. Once I am satisfied, I can go ahead and save this policy. And I can go ahead and activate it. Once I activate it, it's live. Employees can do their assessments, managers can do their assessments, and so on. So there you go. This is the one that we have created. So as you can see, in just a few straightforward steps, the entire review cycle is ready to go, fully customized to the organization's needs. Now, for a second, Let me log in as an employee. So I've logged in as an employee now. I can see that there's a performance menu and reviews under this. And when I go there, I can immediately see that I have a task assigned to me. Pending with me, Renee Brown. It says start assessment. This is essentially my reviews homepage as an employee. I can begin by clicking start assessment, where the screens will guide me through each and every categories that has been configured. Category one being the goals itself. So these are essentially my goals for this particular performance period. And I can take a look at the goal from here if I want. This is the particular goal, and this is the complete goal plan. I know goal plan is not a scope for this session, but I just wanted to show you this is how your KPIs and KRAs will look like in greytHR. Getting back to reviews, and let me go start assessment. And let's say these are all the categories I'm supposed to go through. So I'll say I'll give myself a 4. Let me drop a simple comment in the interest of time. I'm just going to go ahead and copy paste the same thing again in the interest of time. But what you can also see is I can add attachments here. So as a proof of my, as a justification of why I've rated myself or why I've left a certain comment, I can go ahead and add attachments. These will serve as references for next assessors, right? So I'll go next. Again, all the categories, service delivery, it says employee was able to respond. Yes, I did very well. Thank you. The employee was able to ensure HR policies and practices are communicated. Yes. It's only a comment. Here it's only a rating. Let's see. Let's move on. Final section. I'll give myself an excellent. And finally, I land on a summary page where I can see everything that I've done so far, how I've rated myself, how I've commented myself. Again, the comment, that's something in the interest of time, I put a short comment, but you get the idea. You can give a detailed justification of why you've rated yourself a certain way. I'll click on submit. The moment I confirm, I land back on the reviews homepage and immediately it says pending with Sophie, who's my manager, right? So this eliminates manually following up with people saying, you know what, I am done, it's your turn. All of those are not needed. The system automatically forwards it to the next level. So now let's log in as a manager. Again, performance in my menu, I go to reviews, I'll go to team reviews since I'm doing my team review. And this is the particular employee, right? Again, here for that same review cycle, I see that there's a task for Renee Brown that's pending with me. Similarly, as I did with employee, I can start. Let's say I need a general comment here just for the sake of this session. And what you will see here as I scroll down, it's not just that I am rating the employee. I can also see what the employee has rated themselves and what comments they've left, what kind of attachments they have attached. This will serve as a key reference to me to understand how the employee thinks their own performance was in a particular category. So I can make an informed decision while doing my own assessment. Again, let me quickly walk through these sections. I'll click on next for all these sections. These are all the sections that were configured again. And let's say I strongly agree with this one because the employee does support the initiatives. And the final section as well, I think the performance is good. So this is the part where I was speaking, where a manager can add recommendations, right? Because I, as a manager, I know that one of the things employees are looking forward to in this season is salary hikes. So I can go ahead and add a salary hike. Let's say I say 12%, and I leave a short comment. I say employee's performance was satisfactory, deserves the raise. And similarly, let's say I think he deserves a promotion as well. She deserves a promotion as well. So I click designation. Currently, it's HR executive. Let me scroll through to see if I can find what I'm looking for. There you go, Senior HR Executive. I'll just put the same comment there. So as you can see, in a single review, I've not just assessed their performance on various categories, I've also recommended a salary hike and a promotion as well. So I'll click Save and Next, which will bring me again to the summary where I can see a crystal clear snapshot of how the employees rated themselves against various categories, how I did it, and I can see the details. And if I scroll to the very bottom, I can also take a look at the recommendations I've given just to double confirm. Once I'm satisfied, I'll go ahead, click on Submit. Again, it shows that now it's pending with admin. It's gone ahead and it's now pending with admin. So let's go ahead, log in as an admin once again. I'll go to performance management, reviews, and this is the review that we were taking a look at. Let's view details. Now here on the control panel, I can clearly see a snapshot of all the statuses. In my organization here for our session, the HR team is small, but otherwise you'll be able to see the complete list of employees here, what the status of their assessments from all SSOCs. And if I go to my tasks, I notice that there's an action card waiting for me. It says approval for Renee Brown. I'll click on review and I'll quickly walk through what employee and the assessors have given. Next, next, next. And now this is where a powerful feature, a powerful control that an admin has comes in, right? So let's say the manager has recommended a 12% salary increase. But I, as an admin, I know that for this particular employee, based on their CTC and everything, a maximum of 8% is allowed due to budget constraints and other things, or how the policy is structured. So admin can go ahead and make that change, add any relevant comments, and click on save. So it's not that the manager or anybody else proposes and it goes through. Admin can make the changes in terms of recommendations. Similarly, even for designation, and they can go next. Once again, they land on summary where they get a clear snapshot of every single thing. How the employee has rated, manager has rated, and a few more details. And just to confirm that the changes I have made are saved, there you go, 8%, right? So now I'll go ahead and click on approve. So as you can see, now it's approved. I go back to control panel. It says status completed. So within a single flow, we went through employee assessment. The manager also assessed the employee, gave some recommendations, salary change, salary hike, and promotion, and the admin then approved it. So before we go to calibration, we'll take a pause here.
Okay, thanks for that, Prabhanjan. So in summary, we basically saw how admins can set up the review process and employees can go through with it. So we just concluded our own appraisal cycles, at greytHR recently in June, and we're curious to know when do you run appraisals in your organization? Which month do you usually start? Right? Please let us know. You should have seen a poll in your screen right now. A lot of companies do it at the end of the financial year, at the end of the calendar year. Okay, that seems to be the clear majority. April to June seems to be the majority of response. A lot of companies are running appraisals during April to June, which means you've just completed your appraisal cycles and gearing up for the next set of performance reviews. Okay, I think we have a clear winner and ending the poll. We can continue with calibration.
Yeah, thanks, Satish. Let me share my screen again. A quick confirmation if my screen is visible. Yeah. Okay, thanks for that confirmation. So now that we're done with reviews, let's move on to calibration, which you see right here. So calibration works very closely in a very close conjunction with reviews. While reviews help us gather the feedback to understand how the employees perform, calibration ensures that those ratings are balanced and aligned across the organization. Let me show you how that works. So when I first come to calibration homepage, I can see all the policies, active, draft, and history right here. I have a draft policy configured. All right, let's create a policy. Let's call it all teams. August, September. And I'll select a performance period and I'll select a review duration. This is essentially the review duration during which the reviews have happened. And I'll do the calibration for these reviews. Here I can do two things on step two, right? One, I can select the rating scale. Is it against a 5-pointer or a 10-pointer? And then I can define the spread. Let's say I give this as 20, it's 60, and let's say I say 15 again. So what did I just do here, right? Bell curve is the method. Firstly, bell curve is the method that we use for calibration, which is the most common and trusted approach. Now it essentially ensures that the performances follow bell curve, right? What it believes is a small percentage of employees are top performers, a small percentage are at the lower end, while a majority of the employees fall in the middle somewhere, right? So for instance, what you see is I've gone ahead and selected that 5% of my employees I want between 4 to 5, 20% between 3 to 4, and similarly 60% between 2 to 3, and the remaining in this range, right? Now, although this is how I have configured the policy, organizations and admins are free to go ahead and set their own ranges as they see fit, in line with your organization's policy and philosophy, right? So next, step 3. Here, I select all the reviews that are eligible for this based on the performance period. So within this performance period, it looks like I have 4 reviews. What I can go ahead and do is I can either select a subset or I can select all these reviews since it is automatically listed everything. And then I can click on next. This essentially means I'm including all the reviews that are listed here as a part of this policy. And finally, I land on summary. I take a look at everything and save. It's very similar to how we created a review policy, right? So as you can see in 3 quick steps, first step is naming and selection of performance period. Second step, distribution. And the third step is review selection. I've created a complete calibration policy that ensures that ratings are aligned. They're not just given, but they are balanced and fair across the board. So let's go ahead and activate this. And it's now active. I can go ahead and click on view details. So what you'll first see here is the beautiful graphs at the top, right? There are 2 lines that you see. One is the green line, which says aggregate ratings, and then there's the blue line that says expected curve. Now, what is this expected curve? You can scroll down to click on view policy. This is essentially what you have configured as a part of your configuration, where I defined 5% as 4 to 5, and similarly the other ranges. So this graph is essentially how your expected ratings are supposed to be. While the green ones, as you can see, it looks like it has a lot of employees here and a lot of employees here, but almost nothing in the other 3 ranges. So it's very imbalanced in terms of how I want my organization's ratings to be, right? The attempt with calibration is to bring this green line as close as possible to the blue dotted line. Before I do that, however, let me quickly show you how we can see every single review cycle. I can expand the details. I can take a look at their ratings, assessors ratings. I can see the aggregate ratings, and I can see any recommendations that have been added for them. Right. So I have 4 review cycles. I can do that for all my review cycles. What I'll go ahead and do now is click on calibrate, which will essentially initiate the calibration. You might also hear the word bell curve normalization, something that's frequently used for this process. I click on calibrate ratings, and as you can see, the moment I perform calibration, a purple line has come up here, which is in very close, it's flowing very closely to the blue dotted line, which means that the adjustment, the calibration that we attempted has worked, as you can see, and there are calibrated ratings that are now populated against every employee with an aggregate rating. So it's not that every single employee's ratings will change. It's more that in order to bring the distribution evenly in what is expected, the system will go ahead and make a few changes here and there as required. Now here you see a lot of changes because a lot of employees fall in a single range while the other ranges are almost blank in terms of their raw aggregate rating, right? So here I have 2 choices, 3 choices in fact. One, I can either calibrate, meaning I can recalibrate based on any changes required, or I can finalize, which is like freezing and releasing. Or before I do all of that, I can go ahead and manually edit these. So let's say I'm not satisfied. I've had a discussion with the HOD and we're not satisfied with the calibrated ratings for this particular employee. I can change it to say 4.1 and I'll say discuss with HOD and I'll click on confirm. You can see that the rating has changed and the graph will also automatically adjust. And the remarks are right here, manually edited, right? So from here, I can again recalibrate or finalize these ratings. Finalization, it's not that you have to finalize everything. Let's say you only have a confirmation for particular reviews. You can select the review cycles and you can finalize for those review cycles. Once finalized, though, you cannot calibrate for those review cycles again, neither can you manually edit it. So I'll go ahead and finalize. I can similarly finalize for one or more employees selection, right? Not the whole review cycle. So maybe for Renee Brown, the employee that we've been seeing the whole cycle for, let's go ahead and finalize the ratings for her. And there you go. I have successfully finalized the ratings and now you can see this is no longer editable. So essentially what we've done is we've performed calibration and we've sent the rating back to reviews. So let me switch back to reviews, right? And this is the review cycle. One of the tabs that we didn't explore earlier is this ratings and recommendations. If I go here, again, we performed only for this employee. That's why we only see the data for them. But as you can see, I can see the self-rating, aggregate, I can see assessor, I can see the total aggregate, and I can see the final, which is essentially the calibrated ratings that have come in. From here, I have a choice where I can select one or more employees, and I'll click on publish. Publishing is essentially you're happy with everything, everything's gone well, employees assessment, managers assessment, final admin approval, then you've calibrated, you've made some adjustment to the ratings. The whole process is done, you're satisfied. You can go ahead and publish the final document, which is essentially a report to the employee. Here, you can either publish the raw aggregate ratings that have come from the assessors, or you can publish the calibrated ratings. Let's say I go ahead and select aggregated ratings because in my organization, for example, uh, calibrated ratings are used essentially for decision making and not necessarily revealed to the employees, as an example. So let's go ahead and publish aggregate ratings, and that's it, it's done. So now for one final time, I'm going to switch roles and become an employee once again. And let me log in. Again, I go to performance, I go to reviews, and here the review that we just did, I can see that my final rating is this because I published the aggregate ratings. The admin published the aggregate ratings. So me as an employee, I'm seeing this, and then I click on view document, which will essentially show me a beautiful breakdown of every single category and every single assessor. I can see how I rated myself. I can see how the manager rated me. I can see what category wise aggregates are, and I can see the final rating. I can also click on this and it will tell me how this was calculated. So it's all very clear and transparent to the employee. For if I want more details, I can go ahead and see the comments and ratings that the manager gave. I can keep scrolling and view all the details. And finally, I looks like the admin has enabled recommendations to be viewed by me as an employee. So I can go ahead and also see an increase in 8% of salary, and I'm also getting promoted to a senior HR executive. So this way, the whole process isn't just about a number at the end. It's not like 4 out of 5 and you make decisions out of it. It's a complete picture of how I as an employee have performed, what my strengths are, how they were recognized, and where I should focus going forward. I think we've come to an end of our product demo. Suresh, over to you again.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Prabhanjan. So we now saw how calibration works. And this demo was a brief demo covering reviews and calibration alone. If you're interested in greytHR PMS, we can have our team reach out to you and give you a personalized demo. We'll understand your pain points, your current process, and then we can try and give you a very personalized walkthrough of how greytHR PMS works. So please let us know if you would be interested in a personalized demo of greytHR PMS for your organization. We'll have our team follow up with you uh, closely. I'll hold the poll open for a few seconds, so please let us know if you're interested in a demo, and then we can quickly move on to the Q&A session. Okay, while we're getting the responses, I'd like to answer one common question. There are a few customers who've asked about that they are not able to view greytHR PMS, within their greytHR HRMS. I'd like to let you know that PMS is a additional add-on that needs to be purchased, irrespective of whatever plan you are in currently. So, if you're interested in trying out PMS or purchasing PMS, you can raise a support ticket and our team will enable it for you. And yes, there are also people who've joined late asking about the recording. Yes, the recording of the session will be sent to you in a couple of days, so you can go through the initial parts that you might have missed. Okay, so we've got the poll results. I'll end the poll now, and we can start the Q&A session. Okay, so I'd invite all panelists, Nikhil, Pooja, uh, and Prabhanjan to take up questions. I'll read a few that have been already answered, but for the interest, larger benefit of the audience. Shadab is saying one thing missing is that you've not compared employee-wise appraisal within the same department, comparing same experience.
So, with respect to calibration, this can be I've gone ahead and taken multiple departments as an example, but calibration also can be run and only to a specific department.
Prabhanjan, can you speak up a little bit? I think your voice is a bit feeble.
How is it now? Is it okay?
Yes, yes, better.
Okay. I was saying in terms of calibration, for our example, I've gone ahead and taken multiple departments and compared the ratings so that the distribution is across the organization, but choosing only a single department is also possible. I can go ahead and only do it for the HR team, for example. That's also possible.
Okay, so basically, if we have two employees in the same team with similar experience, we can still compare the rating given to them and then adjust it accordingly, right? That's
Yeah.
what you say. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Shadam. Can you please drop your question if you still have a follow-up question? I request you to drop it in the chat, please.
Suresh is asking if he can speak.
No, we are not enabling audio for the audience right now because there could be multiple questions. So the best way is to use the Q&A in Zoom.
Or you can
Please.
also get back to us later.
Yes, you can drop your question in the chat, or you can also drop us an email. I'll leave my email ID with you. You can send us an email and we'll get back to you. Okay, Mukesh is saying once done with salary processing, we'll call for a demo. Yes, thank you. Thanks. Please do that. Let's take up one more question. Someone has asked, can you explain the difference between 360 feedback and reviews? How are they different?
Yeah. So essentially, in reviews, it's more of a defined structure, right? You have your manager's manager, or HOD giving you the feedback. While in 360-degree, the idea is, as the name suggests, to get feedback from 360 degrees. So you don't necessarily, sometimes you work with somebody, but you don't report to them. They're not your manager, but you work very closely with them. These kind of feedbacks can be missed as a part of reviews, but come 360-degree feedback, you can invite people and get feedback from everybody that you work closely with. Doesn't have to be necessarily a part of your organizational structure. I hope that answers the question.
Okay. So Yasser is asking, can admin view the salary difference during the finalization?
Yeah, so yes, going forward, they'll be able to. Right now, we're working on something that will show them a clear picture of current and what happens after the increase. Yes.
Okay. And Balaji is asking whether bell curve can be generated grade-wise, location-wise, manager-wise also.
Yeah, so calibration and the way you bell curve calibration essentially depends on how you've configured your reviews. So if your reviews are configured to be location wise, you can select those reviews and do the calibration for them. So it all depends on how you've configured your review cycles.
Okay. Shaili is asking three different questions. We'll go one at a time. Can we have different rating range from 1 to 15 depending upon the weightage of single KRA?
So right now we have ratings that are 1 to 10, uh, the range being one increment, all of those. Yes, 1 to 15 is not a rating that's available today.
Okay. Can MD or CEO have all the data consolidated for all the employees self-rating and managers rating? Basically, can the leadership see a consolidated report of all employees self-rating and manager rating?
Yes, so on review cycles as well as on bell curve calibration, you will see a download button. Maybe I missed showing that. That will generate a detailed report of everything, how the ratings have happened, what kind of recommendations have come in. So it will generate a very detailed report, and that report can be shared within the organization. Yes.
Okay. And one more question from Shaili is that can managers see from for whom they have done rating and the pending ones?
Yes. So on the managers login on ESS, just beside team reviews that we were taking a look at, there's something called control panel. Within that control panel, they'll be able to see all the employees whose rating, whose assessments they're supposed to do, which ones are finished, which ones they're yet to do, which ones they missed doing. All of those can be seen within a single screen.
Okay. There's another question from an anonymous attendee. They're asking in 360-degree feedback, there's no option to check which colleagues have submitted their ratings. Due to this, it becomes difficult to track how many colleagues have given their feedback and how many have not.
So it's a two-parter, right? In our greytHR PMS 360-degree feedback, you can easily track from the control panel who has given feedback, who has not given, how many have given feedback and how many are yet to do. For example, if there are 6 people that are supposed to give the feedback, you can see something like 2 by 6, meaning 4 people are yet to do it. And in terms of yeah, I think that answers it. The first part also answers it. Yeah, you'll be able to see how much is done and how much is not done, and send a reminder also so that they finish on time.
Okay. So if you're facing this issue, I'd recommend you to reach out to a support team and we can show you how this is done. Right? Okay. Okay. One more question that we can take up is.
No, there is a follow-up thing after that. Only the number is showing and the name is not showing. Pooja, there was something that we were doing on this, right?
As of now, we show only counts, but they can choose to send the manual reminders. But you will be able to see who all completed once you publish the report.
As a manager, another question from Balaji is, as a manager, we are able to see the percentage hike, whether the system can show the manager their present salary and the manager can mention his salary recommendation. I think you already answered that, right?
Yeah.
This is work in progress and will be
It's a
able
working.
to.
Yes.
One more question from Krishna Kumar is, will the override, admin override option be visible to manager or in the activity log?
It will be a part of the activity log where an admin can trace it. The manager will not be able to see any action taken by the admin. Essentially, the manager won't know that the admin is overridden.
So the manager won't know. The
No,
employee will only get to know the final rating.
correct.
Okay. Uh, In the current, Suraj asks, in the current review process, if a manager's goal needs to be reviewed, the review form goes to the manager themselves. There should be a separate option so that the manager's goals can be reviewed by CEO or HR instead.
Maybe that question. Okay, so it says if the manager's goals needed to be reviewed, it goes to the manager themselves. So this depends on how you configured your review cycles. If you want one of your reviewers to be the CEO for all for a particular cadre of employees, that can be configured as well. Who does the assessments is all customizable and configurable.
Pawan is asking, currently we are using our partner product. If we want to switch to switch over, which was presented, what's the process and is there any cost involved? We've made a note, Pawan. We'll reach out to you, regarding this through the email ID and the phone number you've used to register. I'll notify your interest internally and we'll get in touch with you. Yeah. Jay Prasad is asking, can we download all employee KRAs once assigned department wise?
Yes, the short answer is yes.
Okay. With the current resource market, the product should nice. Yasser is saying, with the current resource market, the product should allow resource to mention their expected percentage of increase in salary, along with self-assessment, I believe. Are we coming up with this feature anytime soon?
No, not at this point.
Balaji had asked, employees have a quarterly review cycle, and at the end of the financial year, they have performance appraisal, whereas managers have only the performance appraisal at the end of the financial year. So can the review cycles be configured accordingly?
Yeah. Within a performance period, admins and organizations are free to configure as many reviews as they see fit according to their policy for a given group of employees.
Okay, so basically, different employee groups can have different review cycles throughout the year.
Yes.
What if we don't want employees to see the ratings, but only the percentage increase in the salary, only the hike? Is there a way to hide it?
You mean the ratings as in, yeah. So we're coming up with an enhancement where even the ratings against all the competencies can be hidden. It's fully customizable and controllable. You decide what the employee sees and what they don't.
Okay, so which means the employee knows only how much hike they've got, but they don't know what's the rating that they've been assigned, correct?
Yeah. So today is an option where employees, the admins can choose if an employee can see various assessors, ratings, comments, etc. Also, that also can be controlled. Yes.
Jay Prasad is asking, can we use PMS through mobile, as few employees are not do not have access to the ESS web portal?
Right now, PMS is you need the web browser to use PMS, but we're definitely planning to bring a mobile version down the road.
Okay, I think there's just one question. Okay, Rajesh is asking, please excuse as we have joined late due to official priorities. There are another session at a nearby date. Yes, Rajesh, we are planning for one more session in the mid of September. You will get to know shortly. We'll send out promotional emails, right? And we'll also be sending, for everyone who is registered for today's session, we'll also be sending the recording of today's session, so you can review that as well.
I think one of the same anonymous attendee who, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Ashwini is asking, can I have meeting regarding the financial side? I think you're talking about pricing for PMS. Yes, sure. I'll notify internally and we'll have the corresponding team get in touch with you, Ashwini. Let's see if there are any more unanswered questions. Okay, Shaili had asked, can we disable the salary recommendation feature?
Yeah. So as I was showing during configuring the review cycle, it's not that you have to mandatorily include a salary recommendation or salary hike. You can conduct a review without salary hike as well. It's all customizable. You choose if it happens or it does.
Can we compare employee-wise salary? Can we compare employee-wise salary review in percentage in the page with scoring and all? I think in the page where we have ratings, can we compare employee-wise salary?
Yes, on the ratings and recommendations tab, from where we published, all the employees and their salary recommendation will be listed. So within a single page, you'll be able to see how every employee has gotten a raise.
Okay, I think we seem to have covered most of the questions. Pankuri is asking, can we get the add-on pricings? Yes, we have your email ID and we'll share the details. We'll have someone reach out to you and share the details. If there are any more questions, we have a couple of minutes more left. Please drop them in the chat. You can also reach out to me via email at sureshkumar.s@greytribe.com. Regarding the product demo pricing, any questions that you may have, we'll be happy to respond to your queries.
Just to answer the latest comment, I think this is still about the 360-degree feedback. Yes. So once the report is published, right, you will see a complete list of employees who were supposed to do the evaluation and who have finished and who have not. You'll be able to see that once the report is published. I think Pooja answered it earlier, but just to reiterate, since there was a question again.
Okay. Prabhanjan Sanam is asking, is there any option to suggest areas of improvement for the particular employee?
Sure. I mean, within recommendations, you have the PDP section, development plan. You can use that where you can drop in relevant action items.
Okay. Ashwini is asking, can we have a toll-free number for quick reach out? We do not have a toll-free number. Ashwini, you can drop a mail to support@greytHR.com, greytip.com. Our support agents are active and they'll respond to you quite quickly. Or if you're in touch with any customer service executive from our side, you can, reach out to via them as well. Okay, I think we are nearing the end of the session. So thanks again for everyone taking the time for joining us. We hope it was informative and insightful. Please watch out for future events. We are planning more such events in the future for PMS as well. We are also coming up with a lot of new features and hoping to see everyone in an event similar to this. If you have any queries, feel free to reach out either through the support ID or to the email ID that's on your screen. For people who I've said that I will reach out via email, I will do so in the next couple of days for queries regarding pricing, demo, etc. So thank you again. Thank you, everyone. See you soon in an event very soon.
Thanks, everybody.